So yeah, I was talking about in the last video a little bit about how it's good to maintain diversity in our own genetic makeup and the genetic pool where we are, and just the diversity in the planet. Um, Mutations, spring from this diversity, and those mutations can be what helps us. Like sometimes I think that like there's plants, that start growing towards the light or whatever, and they call that photokinesis, I think. But the when the plant made that bend towards the light, that light could have hit the stalk, and then for some reason this plant had some cells right there that when light hit it, it caused them to quit growing, and that stoppage in growth is what made the plant bend. Similarly, you can think that like when we were just the mammals that were, out living the dinosaurs 45 million years ago or whatever, we're like moles without big eyes and stuff. Um, some people started having these mutations where they would have cells that were sensitive to light, and they right here, and then they start conglomerating right here more and more, and then sooner or later, like somebody had so many of these cells that could respond to light that the brain took notice, and that other like something, maybe they may happen to marry someone, have babies with someone who had something kind of connection there between their brain and this, like some way of deciding what this light cells, there used to just be these mutated cells that somehow were affected by light, but and then just happen to be right here. And it makes sense they're right here because it's under our brow, but still they had to show up there. I'm not sure this is how it happened, but I'm just saying just generally how mutations might work. Um, so then they gathered up there and they became our eyeballs and could tell our brain something about light, because these are just light sensitive cells no matter what happens. Just like when you're taking film, right, and take a picture, the negative, just light affects the negative some way, or light can affect other things like a solar panel or the road. It makes it hot. If you walk on the white lines, they're not hot, but if you walk on the black, it is. So the black would respond, the black pavement responds to the light and the heat. And so maybe we had some cells right here that responded to light, and they started ganging up or balling out, getting a lot right there. And eventually that sensitivity to light in these cells right here became our eyes. And the people that had eyes, well, they were like me and better looking because they had eyes. And like most of you, and if you don't have eyes, well, who cares? Because it's not, the eyes don't really see anything. The eyes are just like, if you think of like a camera, they're just like the film or the the digital sensor on a digital camera. They don't really see anything. It's just the brain does. So that's a whole other thing that's incredibly interesting. But for now, we're going to stick on the subject. And so we talked about choices and how humans are more choice makers than driven by instinct. Somewhere this happened. Um, we know that this probably happened in Africa. And I tend to think it was like some lady, one girl, I kind of romanticize her, but generally things happened where, you know, for whatever reason, she didn't want you to like yell in her face when you were mad, or she didn't want to just watch you beat up the other guys and then just drag her off to the cave and make her pregnant. She didn't even know that you having sex with her made her pregnant. She just wants you to do that. This whole thing of being driven by instinct, what you say is your instinct, and it is in animals particularly. Um, she was not just down with that anymore. She didn't believe you, and she didn't have to. Her mind saw that she could just kind of sneak off in the bushes with some other guy and have babies. So this whole like routine that you have where you have to fight everybody and then she has to come with you because you're the winner, or that when you see some kind of like animal walking by, you have to go chase it down and to get it to eat it, and especially if you're kind of hungry. And she's like, no, you don't have to. Plus, I think you're just going out there to check out so and so. My that girl down the street. And you say you got these instincts, but I'm not buying it. I'm just watching you, noticing the options, the choices you have, and the choices I have. The choices I have are not to buy into your whole instinct-driven animal life, and I want to buy into a life of choice. So I'm choosing to leave you. If you want to choose to get me back, you can choose to not. I believe in instincts, and you can choose to be much nicer to me. You got me. And so I think that that's kind of what happened. She probably made up her mind that choice was the thing. I mean, choice, I think, comes from a clear, empty mind. You see possibilities, and you can make a choice. It's kind of cool because instinct itself doesn't involve like a lot of brain activity that we're really aware of. It may, I'm sure it does, but we're not aware of it, right? So much. That's the whole instinct thing. Whereas if I'm making choices and I'm just seeing options in my mind just by looking around, I'm not having a lot of brain activity either. But I am, but I'm not really aware of it. It's more like this calm, open mind. And that's kind of like where consciousness is today, like what we call consciousness, which is our brain can see possibilities. But remember, our eyes don't really see. Our brain's going to do a lot of the seeing around here. So, let's see, where were we going with this? So she kind of got rid of the instinct-driven stuff, went to the observation, the choice stuff. She has some control. You have some control. Now we're this whole new species called humans. We're like totally not the animals anymore. We're even pretty close to conscious, and we're deciding things for ourselves. And deciding things for ourselves is a lot like having instincts, right? That's deciding, doing it for us. I'm doing it for me and for you. I'm getting this food for us. Well, maybe we don't need this food now, or maybe I want to be vegetarian, or maybe I want to go get my nails done and don't want to eat right now, or maybe I just already put the kids to bed and I don't want to be waked up, so I just want some peace and quiet. We're going to be choice people. But it's interesting how they're very close. Things are a lot like instincts. You don't really use your mind so much because your instincts are doing it, but your mind probably is working. I have an empty mind. I'm just looking at choices. Well, we think that this is more intelligent. Maybe more intelligent. I mean, it has to use less mind energy, but the mind is still working. So that's kind of cool how they're these very similar things, but somehow she decided to make a choice. That there was choice, or at least she saw options. Like I said earlier, you walk around that side of the mountain, I walk around this side. We both get over there, and bam. If we're like at all intelligent, we are all like capable of being like what would be humans or intelligent life. And we'd say, hey, we did just do the opposite thing back there, but end up right here. So we do have choices that can get us to the same place. It's not that we always have to be driven by like what the instinct says right now. We can get something to eat maybe later, and maybe if we just go watch over there, we might see that caribou that Uncle Ben said he thought he saw yesterday, and then we don't have to go jump off those cliffs and climb those cliffs, and that nearly kill us every year to try to get the last catch of the year. So why don't we just do that? And if that doesn't work, maybe you could go try one, I could go try the other. But for now, let's just go take it easy and go see what we observe. Because what I'm seeing right here is we do have a choice. We're not starving yet. Where there's still fish, push comes to shove, we'll get out every morning and we'll go find us something to eat if we have to. But let's try to do it this way, with our clear mind and our options visible to us. We decide, or I think she had a lot to do with that in the ancient times, like ancient, what we would probably all agree was ancient Africa, moving somewhere from like Australopithecines, into to Homo erectus was a long time, but going from little like kind of hairy, small little things, which were cool and really cute. And I bet the guys back then were pretty cool too, nice. They don't look too mean. They're not too huge or anything, but we're gonna make some really long inroads here to become brainiacs in trial, which I'll say that sometimes when I think about the universe, I think just the only thing that stands between me and understanding the universe pretty much in toto is my brain. Otherwise, like as a product of the universe, more or less, I should be able to find the clarity and the insight to know what's going on here. And it's just my brain that kind of stands in my way. And furthermore, I doubt that there's any species out there in the universe that is really going to be smarter than me. Maybe has a head start on me, maybe finds things more important than me, maybe already got some answers.